Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching NDTV. Former Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi and Aam Aadmi Party leader Manish Sisodia will contest the upcoming Delhi Assembly elections from the Jangpura constituency as the party has fielded UPSC coaching teacher Avadh Ojha from his old seat, Patparganj, which he had held since the party's inception in 2013. Now, Aam Aadmi Party released its second list of 20 candidates for Delhi polls on Monday. Manish Sisodia won from Patparganj in 2013, 2015 and also in 2020. Although his winning margin was over 28,000 votes earlier, in 2020 he won by just over 3,100 votes, which of course has now prompted the BJP to latch on to this issue. The BJP has said that Manish Sisodia is running away from his seat, fearing defeat. After the list was announced on Monday, Manish Sisodia took to X to suggest that he had moved away from Patparganj to accommodate Ojha. Now, was this a politically astute decision by the Aam Aadmi Party that faces a very critical electoral battle? Remember, coming back to power in Delhi is very important for the party because its politics elsewhere in the country is heavily dependent on its Delhi model offering. Or was this a move by a party that faces anti-incumbency, disruption caused by the arrests of several senior leaders and also an opposition hoping to cash in on this corruption allegations? Now, these are of course early days of election countdown, but who really has the edge when it comes to optics, politics and also perception? BJP or Aam Aadmi Party? That is what we will discuss tonight. Before I go across to my guest, let me bring in my colleague Ankit Tyagi, but before that, let's also listen into some political reactions.
बीजेपी वाले कुछ भी कहते रहे, बीजेपी वालों की तमाम कोशिशों के बावजूद इनकी तो कोशिश थी कि मैं पार्टी छोड़ के भाग जाऊं, इनकी तो कोशिश थी कि मैं अरविंद केजरीवाल जी का साथ छोड़ के भाग जाऊं, मैं दिल्ली का साथ छोड़ के भाग जाऊं, मैं 17 महीने जेल में रहा, लेकिन मैं छोड़ के नहीं भागा, मैं छोड़ के भागने वालों में से नहीं हूं। इनको मैं जंगपुरा में भी हराऊंगा, पटपड़गंज में भी हराऊंगा, पूरी दिल्ली में हराऊंगा। और जब मैं कह रहा हूं मैं, तो मैं दिल्ली का आम आदमी बोल रहा हूं, मैं दिल्ली के आम आदमी पार्टी का एक कार्यकर्ता बोल रहा हूं।
मनीष सिसोदिया पटपड़गंज छोड़ करके भाग गए। पटपड़गंज ने विपरीत परिस्थिति में भी उनको जिताया था, लेकिन 5 साल में पटपड़गंज का विश्वास जीतने की बजाय भागना उचित समझा। ये है आज की आम आदमी पार्टी की अपनी सर्वे, जिसमें इनको 12-13 सीट से ज्यादा मिल ही नहीं रही है और पटपड़गंज जैसी सीट हार रहे हैं। तो मनीष सिसोदिया अगर चुनाव नहीं जीत सकते अपनी जगह से, तो छुप करके दूसरे जगह से जीतेंगे और दिल्ली को पता नहीं चलेगा। जब मनीष सिसोदिया पटपड़गंज के नहीं हुए तो और जगह के क्या होंगे?
My colleague Ankit Tyagi joins us. Ankit, even in 2020, I remember a lot of Aam Aadmi Party leaders used to say कि इसकी सीट बदलनी पड़ेगी. So clearly, this was something to do with the changing demography of the place. It's not really considered a safe seat for Manish Sisodia anymore. Even his election, his result, ran into the last few hours because I remember that there was no clarity on him winning or not. What really are the Aam Aadmi Party sources saying with regard to why was his seat really changed? And how is the Aam Aadmi Party looking at this?
Well, the Aam Aadmi Party may say whatever, but the fact remains that Patparganj is a very challenging constituency as far as Manish Sisodia is concerned. He has represented this constituency in 2013 for 1 year, between 2013 and 14. Then in 2015, he won that with a margin of over 20,000 votes. But in 2020 election, that margin reduced to just 3,000 votes. As you were rightly pointing out, it went right down to the wire. In fact, I remember I was covering that a day, and I was at the Aam Aadmi Party headquarters. Arvind Kejriwal wanted to give the victory speech, and he was waiting for Manish Sisodia's result to be declared before, in fact, he could go on the stage. But it is a tough constituency for Manish Sisodia. The demographics of that constituency, especially the Pahari voter, the people, those who come from Uttarakhand in a large pocket, and also a big middle-class voter in various societies of Patparganj, that is where Manish Sisodia is finding it trouble. That is where the BJP is finding a lot of resonance, and that's why his seat has been changed. Now he goes to Jangpura, which was, of course, the seat of Praveen Kumar, who is also from the Aam Aadmi Party, and Avadh Ojha, the newly inducted educator who has been given the constituency of Patparganj. The whole idea behind that is that Patparganj represents a lot of coaching institute and young people, those those who are preparing for the IAS, IPS, examination, these young people and their families would in fact support Avadh Ojha. But it is not going to be an easy constituency by all means as far as Aam Aadmi Party is concerned. But Vasudha, a larger point on what Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal have been doing so far. 31 seats in 2 lists have been declared by the Aam Aadmi Party. And if you look at it, about 17 sitting MLAs have been dropped. 2, Manish Sisodia and Rakhi Birlan, who also won her seat thrice, their seats have been changed. So Aam Aadmi Party realizes, Arvind Kejriwal realizes there is anti-incumbency, and that is why about more and more people have been brought in from BJP and the Congress. 6 in the first list, 2 in the second list, and also in this list a lot of young new faces from the Sangathan of the Aam Aadmi Party have been given charge, have been given the ticket. So Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal making sure winnability and a strong fight remains the criteria, not any emotion of any leader or a big face as far as Aam Aadmi Party's plans are concerned.
Right. Thank you, Ankit Tyagi, for joining us with those critical details. Hard work and performance seem to be what the Aam Aadmi Party seems to be relying on. Let me bring in my guests now. Akshay Marathi of the Aam Aadmi Party. We have RP Singh of the BJP, and we have Amitabh Tiwari, political analyst, joining us. To you, Akshay, first, you heard what Ankit also had to say. I know that 31 names have come out, which also shows that the party wants to put out a face of preparedness. But clearly, the optics of it, and politics is so much about perception and optics, the fact that the Deputy Chief Minister, the ex-Deputy Chief Minister, someone who's known as the architect of all the reforms that you see around, specifically in schools, he had to change his seat. How does that really influence or in some ways add to your party's growing popularity? Because, in real sense, it actually acts to what the BJP is saying, that, is the party actually facing anti-incumbency jitters?
Vasudha, unfortunately, I was having some internet issues, so I wasn't able to hear your question entirely. But if I can make an assumption about you asking me about Manish Sisodia ji changing his seat, I can answer that question. So, you know that Manish Sisodia ji was not just the MLA of Patparganj, not just the 3-time MLA of Patparganj. He was the Deputy Chief Minister, he was the Education Minister. I, in fact, had the pleasure of working alongside him when he worked very extensively across Delhi on reforming the government schools of Delhi. And some of his most innovative experiments actually started with the Patparganj seat, where the Mandavli school had became a model school, all sorts of curriculum development programs, teacher development training programs, all kind of the experiments that he was trying to drive across Delhi began with the Patparganj seat, because of course that was the seat that he was elected from. And so when somebody like an Avadh Ojha joins the Aam Aadmi Party, and he's associated with the brand of education in India, he's very well known for his work as a teacher. There is no better seat for him than Patparganj, and that is what Mr. Manish Sisodia also highlighted today, that he was very happy, he was very proud that he was handing over the reins to Mr. Avadh Ojha to kind of continue the good work that he has been doing. And he is moving to Jangpura, which is actually right next to Patparganj. It is not too far from Patparganj, and both seats are very strong seats for the Aam Aadmi Party this time, and we are confident of victory in both those seats.
Right. RP Singh, if you look at Amit Malviya's tweet, and he's the social media head of the party, he says that the party is, Aam Aadmi Party is grappling with anti-incumbency jitters, and in fact he also goes on to say that in the 2 candidate lists released so far, 31 names, either 83% MLAs have been dropped or swapped. But while all of that could be true, the fact that BJP has not really come out with its list also shows that the BJP is not as aggressive as one would have hoped, considering that the party has been wanting to come to power in Delhi for the last 26 years.
Well, Vasudha, if declaring the list is aggression, then I'm sorry. I mean, that doesn't reflect good on your political knowledge. We are working well on ground, from Panna Pramukh to the polling booth to the complete infrastructure. We have more than 215,000 workers on ground which are working every day, reaching out to voters. Even now, from last 6 months, they have been working on ground, and they have been working as per the various section of society, by various and the economic section and the social section also. So this work is already on. And as far as list goes, it will be declared soon. But that point aside, Mr Sisodia was a deputy CM. And then as you said, from 32,000 to 3,000. And he knew that this time he's going to lose. So because he has not been seen in the constituency. And as for drum beating the education part, let me just quote you one para from the Justice Khanna's, the Chief Justice now, who is the Chief Justice, he said that the condition of the schools in Delhi is in shutters. Please go through his observation in April 2024, where he has criticized the complete functioning of the schools. Also, that more than 1 lakh children are drop out every year from 9th and 11th standard because to improve the result of 10th and 12th. But no one talks about those 1 lakh children which are dropped year after year only to keep the results better. But what is the future for those 1 lakh children in both the 11th and 9th class? That point aside. But today, people have made up their mind. They're outrightly rejecting. Their freebies are not working. Let me give a challenge. They say pani maaf. I give a challenge. Give me one house in Delhi which doesn't have a RO, or give me one jhuggi cluster jhuggi which doesn't buy water and drink water. Drinking water they buy in big bottles, and each bottle costs nothing less than 30 rupees. And I was in one of these jhuggi clusters, therefore yesterday at Railway Colony, a railway halt in Narayana. I'm doing my Revdi Sabhas and telling people, educating people, and I've stayed there and I've seen the condition of the people there. They say that we buy water, 60 rupees bottle, 2 bottles every day to maintain our daily requisition for our household. One. Secondly, I asked them, is Bijli half? They said we are getting each jhuggi cluster. I can send you videos which has been recorded by a different channel. They say we are paying almost 2,500 plus for each, just a jhuggi, for a jhuggi cluster. So that's the 2 Revdis. And third is I told about the education. Fourth about the health. I mean, what is their health model? Mohalla clinic, where they were.
Let me get a response from Akshay Marathe.
Can I give another second?
Yes,
just another second.
Please go on.
Oh, the fourth Revdi they talk about is the Mohalla clinic. I mean, it's an utter failure. Today, if people can get Ayushman Bharat, people from Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh come to Delhi and they get themselves treated in one of the best hospitals in Delhi, in my constituency named Gangaram, for 5 lakh rupees under Ayushman Bharat. But in Delhi today, no poor man can afford to reach out to any good hospital, private hospital. And the condition of the government hospital is so bad that none of the leaders, when they fall ill, they don't go to the government hospital. Neither Mr. Kejriwal, neither Mr.
The BJP spokesperson talk about it. Has the Aam Aadmi Party's popularity in some ways, faced a setback, considering that there have been, large arrests also? Do you think that that's also one reason why the party is in some ways dropping a lot of sitting MLAs?
No, see, essentially what happens is that in any 10-year tenure, and this is practically the third term because the first term was just 2 to 3 months old, there is bound to be natural anti-incumbency which develops against the local MLAs. There are 25 seats where the Aam Aadmi Party has won the elections 3 out of 3 times in the last 3 elections. And there are 35 or 36 seats which they have won twice out of the last 3. So there is bound to be natural anti-incumbency, and on top of that, there have been serious corruption allegations, as you are mentioning, due to which the top leadership of the Aam Aadmi Party was behind the bars for a long time, which they claim has been because of political vendetta. Now, Delhi is a very high split voting pattern state. It gives all the 7 seats to BJP in Lok Sabha, and it gives almost 95% of the seats to Aam Aadmi Party in Vidhan Sabha in less than a year. There are 30% floating or swing voters in Delhi who move from Aam Aadmi Party to BJP and Congress, national parties in Lok Sabha election, and they move back to Aam Aadmi Party in a Vidhan Sabha election. This is the crux of Delhi. Such high split voting is never witnessed. So as any party, and this trick of changing MLAs, I think BJP has learned from, or rather Aam Aadmi Party has learned from BJP itself. So they have dropped almost 60% of the MLAs because changing MLAs or dropping MLAs is considered as one of the ways to mitigate natural anti-incumbency. In Lok Sabha 2019, BJP had dropped almost 45% of its MPs.
Right. Akshay Marathe, considering the slow pace of work in rural Delhi and also the fact that, Aam Aadmi Party could not really, bring down or derail the growth of the BJP in Lok Sabha elections, although it was in an alliance with Congress Party. Do you think all of this in some ways also shows that this time the challenge is much bigger for Arvind Kejriwal, and considering that MCD is also with Aam Aadmi Party now, so there's no blame game on that front as well?
Vasudha, there is the politics on one side and there is the governance on the other side. And when it comes to the governance model of the Aam Aadmi Party, the kind of work that the AAP has done, let me just give you some numbers. 18 lakh children study in our government schools. I request the BJP spokesperson and all your journalists in NDTV as well, just go out and survey people of Delhi. Ask them, what do you think of the government schools in Delhi 10 years ago versus today? And you will get the answer as to why Arvind Kejriwal is so wildly popular among the class of people, especially who send their kids to government schools. 40 lakh households of Delhi get free electricity in these winter months. 40 lakh households. There are 33% of the ridership of all DTC buses is coming from women today, and they're all traveling for free. So if you forget the politics of the BJP Aam Aadmi Party blame game for a second, for a common man, for a common woman of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal is the leader who brought in a slew of welfare measures, revdies, as the Prime Minister called it, and now we flaunt that term because we believe that the work of the government is to give those revdies to the people who have voted for them and who have paid taxes in return for those revdies. So that is the reason that Aam Aadmi Party actually is going to beat that traditional logic of anti-incumbency this third time. And whether it is Manish Sisodia from Patparganj, from Jangpura, or Avadh Ojha
Okay, I'm
from
completely out of time.
Patparganj,
RP, last word from you, sir.
See that we will win with a historic margin once again.
Okay, RP Singh, you also have to build on the welfare model that Arvind Kejriwal has been talking about, despite all the criticism that has become in some ways the fulcrum of Indian politics now, sir.
Well, let me rectify my earlier point. It was Justice Manmohan, not Justice Khanna. My apologies for that. Now the Chief Justice of Delhi, and I'll appreciate let your research team do little research what his observation is about the Delhi education model. But that point aside, the issue is people are fed up of corrupt government one, and government which is just delivering in newspaper ads or in publicity, not on ground. As I told you, I've been myself going to every cluster, sleeping there. If I show you the condition of the toilets in those clusters, you'll be shocked. I mean, I give a challenge to Mr. Kejriwal or Mr. Akshay Marathe. Please come and go to one of the toilets and use one of the toilets. If you come well outside, I'll quit politics, or I'll pay for your bill in the hospital. There's the conditions of public toilets, which is basic for the clusters. So people, both at the lower end of the strata and middle class, both are fed up of them, and then they are not going to vote for them this time. Be very clear on this. And they are going to be routed this time. Mr. Sisodia will lose even Jangpura, although he has shifted because of certain reasons. He has done certain calculations because of vote bank there. But he's going to lose that also, and Mr. Ojha will be routed. Okay. Mark my word, he'll be routed nothing less than 25,000 votes.
Thank you all of you for joining me on this broadcast. Aam Aadmi Party has released names of 20 candidates in its second list, with several sitting MLAs dropped. Former Deputy Chief Minister and Patparganj MLA Manish Sisodia has been shifted to Jangpura, while popular UPSC coaching teacher and motivational speaker Avadh Ojha, who joined the Aam Aadmi Party last week, has been fielded from Patparganj. We will see how that battle plays out.